So you're thinking about moving to Houston, Texas. You may even be thinking about moving to Beaumont, Texas. This city right here falls right in the middle. And today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Mont Belvieu, Texas. And as you saw, I'm not holding back. I'm laying all the cards on the table because I want you to know if this is a good place for you to move your family to. So this little city just east of Houston is known for some of the best schools in Texas. Safe, family friendly vibes. And it also comes with some higher home prices, taxes, and a commute that you need to plan for. That with growing traffic. We're gonna talk about it all. And so by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly if Mont Belvieu is the place that you're gonna want to call home. Let's get into it. Share this right here. I think. Trying to share my screen. It ain't showing my screen. Uh oh. Oh, it's because I got so much stuff up. Here we go. Nope. Almost about to go. All right. Pros and cons of living in Mont Belvieu, Texas. So like I say, if you're considering moving to Houston or even Beaumont, Mont Belvieu falls smack dab in the middle. Matter of fact, let me grab that map so you can see this right quick. Boom. Let's switch this around. All right, so this is Mont Belvieu. Just, just a little circle here. This is Mont Belvieu, and like I said, Mont Belvieu is literally about 30 minutes from. Oh, that's a bad draw. About 30 minutes to Houston, right? And a little bit, a little 45, about 45 minutes to Beaumont, which is over here. Let's see if I can. So I personally, I personally will fall I will personally put Mont Belvieu more of a Houston suburb than a Beaumont suburb because it's just that close to Houston, but it's in Chambers County, which is southeast Texas. Okay. So this is a unique place. This is a unique place because I'm getting all outside of my notes. This is a unique place because you can work in Houston or you can work in Beaumont and still be able to be in a nice city, not too far from either one, right? Okay. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this, man. So hold on. All right. Get that back. All right, my eyes are burning. My eyes always why they always burn when I'm recording? That's terrible. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Let's get into some let's get into some stats here. So let's talk about some of the pros. So Mont Belvieu it offers numerous advantages for families and professionals seeking a balance between the suburban comfort, right, and also the economic opportunity. And so we're really going to talk about it some more, like because they again Mont Belvieu is situated in such a ideal spot. Like if you don't want to live in a major city, it's like right there. It's right outside of Houston, right outside of Beaumont, and you kind of get the luxuries of living out in the country, but you get the easy convenience of going to um, any major city that you want. Now, I'm a food guy. Come on, where my food people at? Type food in the comments if you love food, if you're a foodie. Like Beaumont, Southeast Texas has some great food. Like it's right there by Louisiana, so you get to jump over to Beaumont and get a lot of that Cajun food. That's just delicious. And then if you want to roll to Astros game, right? You're not that far. You can jump on I-10, boom, off you go. You got 99. That's up, and I'm going so outside of my notes. Let me get back to this tab real quick. Oh man, I did it again. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm acting like a beginner here. Okay. Because you are so close to 99 right here, you get all the conveniences. I mean, you get all of the luxury of being able to get anywhere using 99, right? But then like I said, you're also super close to Beaumont. So close enough to man. Come on. Close enough to Beaumont to get over here. Right. And then but that also means if you work in Port Arthur, if you work in Beaumont, right, you still looking at, 40 something minute drive, a 45-minute drive to get to literally Port Arthur. Like I legitimately know people who live in Mont Belvieu right here and they work, cut this out, and they work way, way over here. Right. And this right here going 73, I-10 73, Mont Belvieu, that's like 45 minutes. Get a five in there. That's like 45 minutes. Not bad. Not a bad commute. So again, you get some of those luxuries being right here in Mont Belvieu. So again, I guess I'm highlighting some pros for you. Okay, we're talking about some pros real quick. Okay, education. Barbers Hill ISD is it has some high ratings. So I'll put some links. I'll put some links or I'll comment some links below so you can look into some of the ratings of the school. But Barbers Hill consistently ranks among Texas's top school districts with a 98% graduation rate. The district boasts exceptional facilities, including a $40 million STEM center, championship level athletics, and man, y'all, they are proud of their athletics. I'm not lying. When you're passing by the school, I mean they got all their rankings right on the front of the school. The middle school has it, high school has it. We the best of the best. Look how many championships we run. It's when I tell you Friday Night Lights is real in Texas. Friday they made the movie from Texas. Like Friday Night Lights is real. They don't play. The local rivalries are serious. Hey, serious. But now this is also something as well. The student teacher ratio is a 15-1, and over $12 million in scholarships are awarded annually. So your children receive personalized attention and opportunities for future success. Afford oh, I jumped too fast. Affordability. And so there's a lower cost of living in Mont Belvieu, right? So housing costs 12% below the Houston metro average with no city property taxes. Okay. Strong job market. It's 5.2 percent unemployment rate, which is below the national average with the petrochem industry opportunities. I mean, the petrochem industry is the major driver in the area, which is great. And we're gonna talk about how that is great. Like it provides a strong job market and great income. Like you are oil and gas, you can make a good living working in oil and gas in all levels, like all up and down. Plant leadership, from starting out to growing in your career, you can do it all right there and make a good living. you know, appreciating home values. So property values increased 28% over the past 5 years, outpacing the regional trend. And that it can be good or bad, right? So when that you can be good or bad. Property values increasing, which obviously means that your taxes are going to increase. And so for some, that's wonderful. They got equity, and for others, you have to start pay them taxes, or you got to do some protesting or something, right? But appreciating value means that you buy whatever you buying your house for today, you got a good chance you're gonna have some good equity on it later on, right? With the growth that Mont Belvieu is seeing, you position yourself coming in now to get you some equity. It's not like it's not like a city that has been well established. This city is growing. It's growing fast. If you saw some other previous videos, I know I'm streaming this on LinkedIn, so you may not have seen that. But make sure you follow me on YouTube at Thomas Family Life, and you'll see some of the videos that I had there. but I just did a video on Riceland, um, and going doing a whole walk through that community. I mean, this community is huge. They're going to bring in 3,800 residents. They building a whole new city, and they are growing. And what I do appreciate is that they are planning for this growth, and that they're taking notes from some of the other cities that have grown based upon 99 expansion and all the things. They're taking note, and they are planning ahead, and they are putting infrastructure in place to handle that type of growth, which is really good on the city planning side. Get this back here, boom. Amenities. Let's talk about a little bit of amenities. We're talking about some pros here for Mont Belvieu. They put in a $23 million state of the art Eagle Point recreation center that features Olympic-sized pools, fitness facilities, multi-purpose courts available to residents for a minimal fee. Like, that place is nice. Nice. It ain't okay. Now listen, y'all. I done seen all kind of sides of Houston. This ain't the Y, and nothing wrong with the Y, right? This ain't some rinky dink, recreation center. This place is nice. Should check it out. So you get some nice amenities, right? That are available to you in the city. City parks, 180 acres offers sports fields and walking trails and picnic areas, while the community calendar is packed with events like market days and Eagle Fest and Christmas in the park. So the park and recreation, which is Eagle Park, um, they maintain a different. There are some pretty parks over there. Now they always got something going on. I brought my family out to some of those events, and it's fun, good family fun, and they have more green space than a little bit for you to get out, get some air, let the kids run around and feel relatively safe. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. With a 92% satisfaction rating, 92% satisfaction rating in resident surveys, the strong community spirit is evident throughout all of Mont Belvieu. And it really is. It really is. People are proud to be from Mont Belvieu. Let's talk about some cons. We're going to talk about some cons, y'all. And I'm going to be real with you. Okay? Be real with you. I ain't holding back. Can we tell you the truth? Because I want you to know this is going to be a good place for you to call home for your family, right? So here's some of the cons. Just be real, right? Mont Belvieu has so much to offer, and it's important to consider the potential challenges that might impact your lifestyle. So being informed helps you make the best decision for your family's future. That's really what that's my that's my rhythm. You kind of see it a little bit here in my little graphic here. Um, oh, jumping too fast. I'm jumping too fast. Come on. There we go. Okay. So, go back one more. I think I jumped too far. There we go. All right, here we go. So, let's I'm gonna be, Mont Belvieu. I like this little graphic here. But Mont Belvieu hosts one of North America's largest natural gas storage facilities. So while facilities maintain strict safety standards with regular inspections, and some neighborhoods have views of industrial infrastructure, right? So do you want to see a plant outside your window, right? I'm just, some concerns that come up is air quality concerns exist, and so through monitoring through monitoring shows readings that through monitoring, EPA has guidelines, and they follow those with strict reverence. Um, there does come those times when you get the smell, and if you ever live near a plant, what I'm talking about. Every plant has their own smell, because usually they cooking or burning something, and they got their own smell, and you come outside on the right day, you get a whiff of it, and you want to. Hey, listen, man. I don't even know if I could say. I don't even know if I should say this. I don't care what they say. If I can smell whatever's going on in your plant, I probably shouldn't be smelling it, right? Those are chemicals that have entered into my nasal passages. Those are chemicals that have entered into my nasal passages, and I don't know how safe those chemicals are. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real, right? Okay, so so you have the industrial person, and I'm gonna show you, like, and listen, I'm not knocking the plants. I'm just this is if you're coming from outside of Houston, you're coming from outside of any sort of petrochem area, like, you this is a new world. This is a new world, and I want to help you understand, and help you make an informed decision, right? Let's help you make an informed decision. So let's look at this. Let me show you this map here. All right, so we got the map. Again, you see Mont Belvieu here. I'm gonna switch it so you can see the satellite. I think there we go. Now, okay, so over here at I-10 and 3180. Right, you have HEB. This is kind of the heartbeat of Mont Belvieu right here. Mont Belvieu Park. You have this big development happening over here. This is Rice Land. I mean, Rice Land is growing right there, right? You got so you have energy transfer, doing their thing. It might be a corporate office. Okay, that's not bad. A little corporate office. We ain't worried about the corporate office. That's cool. You got a little community over here. You got houses over here. It's looking good. But you got some growth happening over here. Look at that. Growth happening all over the place. And then you come right here. This is a plant. And this is a big plant. This is just one plant, right? Stuff that makes the plant work is over here, right? You got retention ponds over here. You got another plant right here. That's a big plant. Now, none of this still don't really do you no justice until you see this plant over here. I mean, look at all of these are plants. This is something cooking, burning, heating, cooling, moving, right? Producing, all up and down here. Look at this. These are plants. Another plant right here. Another plant right here. Now, one of the biggest. Where am I at? Here's I-10. Floyd's. This don't do you no justice either. This is a big plant. Chevron Phillips over here. This is a big plant. And it's covering some distance. Again, you got retention ponds, you got all kind of stuff that happens where these things get pumped into, and they get filtered and pumped in and cooled and pumped into the plant to do its cooling and bring the water that they need and all those things. And I respect it, like, because I really do respect what's going on in the plants because they have their place in which they help the world work, right? Like I didn't, I know we're gonna have some people who are like, plants are terrible for the environment. Well, they also account for all the stuff that we use, right? So I'm on this phone. I'm on this. I got my microphone here. I got my camera here. Got screen here, screen here, screen here. All this stuff is made from stuff produced in plants. So I'm appreciative of what comes out of these things that allow us to be able to do what we do. But honestly, I just ain't trying to smell it either because I mean, they burning stuff, man. They burning, cooking, heating, cooling, all kind of stuff. And I spent many a days in them, and again, I get it. I get it. They provide a living for so many people. Like I'm not gonna be one to say shut them down. That ain't me because I get it. But if you're not used to it, and they all come with inherent risk. They really do. If something happens, God forbid something happens. That if something gets out of hand, they they can blow. And it happens. And there was a plant that blew in in southeast in Port Arthur, no, Port Nature's, blew, baby, blew, and it affected all the homes around it. So you come with those inherent risk, right? Now, granted, they do have I want to make this clear too. They have multiple safety procedures and steps and things. Because honestly, here's the deal: no one wants to go to work and not come home. Can I just? I'm gonna just. What I'm saying? Let me just. Nobody wants to go to work and not come home, right? So they have safety measures in place to handle these things. I still remember it. I'm going to share some. I'm just sharing some insights, personally. I remember being in the plant. I was in a plant, and doing and selling industrial supplies, and I was meeting with one. I was meeting with my client at the time, and um, the radio went off and said, "There's a fire." I said, "There's a fire inside the plant right now." And he paused, and I paused, and I'm like, should I worry? you know and he's like, hey, if I don't run, you don't have to run. I said, okay. So and I tell you what, the prep that these teams go through to be prepared for when situations arise is amazing. Is amazing. And as fast as that fire happened was as fast as the safety team got over there, took care of it, secured the area, made sure everything was good, and took care of the issue that arose. And all the plants, like all of them, they're heavily regulated to minimize and deter safety incidents, right? So I'm just speaking from personal experience, and like I say, but if you're not from the area, you're not. It's if you're not from the area, and I'm gonna go there, and you listen to a lot of the news, that wants to shut all these places down. You're gonna hear some stuff that are that if you ain't from that if you're not from around, you won't understand, right? And so, and even for some who are around, they don't know either. They don't know either. But I do want to be honest with you. There are inherent risks when you live next to a plant. Like, I'm a be, and like I say, even with all of those safety things in place, I'm just being honest. If you smell something, I don't know how. I just don't know how safe it is to smell something consistently over a course of time that won't cause issues, like for real. Like I don't. At that point, I don't care what the EPA says. That ain't right. Something ain't right about that. You know. Anyways, so I want you should take that into consideration. All right, so we'll go to the next one. It's probably the big one, but I want to slow down and just bring some personal some personal stuff into this, right? Like for real, So, all right, limited amenities. So the Mont Belvieu though is growing, and I mean, it's growing. They're bringing in food all over the place, right? Um, it offers, your basic stuff, right? You're gonna base stuff and a little bit more, little bit more, right? You're gonna have your Walmart, you're gonna have your HEB, right? You're gonna have some dining facilities. Now you're not gonna have all of them, but they are starting to bring in some really nice high end fast food restaurants, which is really nice. Just really nice. But typically you're gonna find, some fast food, some casual dining, right? But if you want to get some premium shopping, right? Some some big venues. I mean, you have Cactus Jacks, and if you go look at my last video, when we went to Cactus Jacks when I was did a tour on Riceland, went to Cactus Jacks. They bringing in some kind of entertainment, some fun in the area, right? A little honky tonk, little honky tonk. but it's not, nothing compared to like a Houston, right? Houston proper, right? So for some of those other venues, you might have to go to Houston. Beaumont, yeah, ain't a whole lot going on in Beaumont either. But some of those fine dining, right, and some cultural things, you want to, get some of those experiences. Usually, people just head to Baytown and they go to Houston. Typically, Houston. Weekend entertainment often requires just some planning and some travel time. Some residents find this inconvenient, right? Because they just everything is. I don't have. It's a small town. Like, even they're growing, it's still a small town, so they don't have all the things. So some of the things you're gonna have to drive in town for, even specifically, like especially like certain hospitals. If you need to do, these some serious, go to Houston, right? Houston's, closer than Beaumont. Usually, if it's something really bad, Beaumont will send you to Houston. So just go to Houston, all right? Okay. Now, I didn't. I'm gonna highlight these here because I think it's real. Yeah, the weather extreme. So Mont Belvieu sits near the coast, and let me bring this up. I want to show you this. Oh, why is it doing that? Sorry. Hmm. Boom. So Mont Belvieu. Just again, I want to give you some idea of where we're at here. This is the Gulf of America. All right, you got the Gulf of America here, Mont Belvieu here. Again, really kind of in parallel with Houston, right? Beaumont's a little higher, Lumberton is a little higher, Silsbee, so forth, right? Port Arthur is relatively closer to the coast, right? You got this bay right here, Trinity Bay, which is huge, but this is the Gulf of America. So we got hurricanes, man. If and just at the end of the day, right? I mean, hurricanes it's a real thing. If you're in Houston, if you're in any of these cities, I mean, it just from Houston, Beaumont, it don't matter. Like, hurricanes don't really become a threat so much so if unless you like over here. Like, I mean, if you're like in San Antonio or something, uh, the hurricanes ain't really gonna bother you. You just get a lot of rain off of them, right? But I'm telling you, a hurricane can cover all the whole city, like Houston and Galveston. A hurricane can cover the whole thing. One system, one system can cover the entire city, the whole thing. And then, but it happens when we got the hurricanes. You have the clean side, the dirty side, and all this stuff, right? You start living on the coast, you start learning all this stuff. Um, Hurricanes are real, and Mont Belvieu. I mean, it's right there. Like, it's right there. And if I'm not mistaken, um, never mind, I ain't gonna say that, but they're right there. So you want to be prepared for outages. Um, Again, flooding, outages, things like that. You want to be prepared. You want to be prepared. So what I mean, make sure you make if you're going to invest in a home anyway. You want to make sure the home is protected. You want to double check your floodplains, right? Make sure those floodplains are good. Because even though now let me preference this too, because I don't know if some people really um again, if you're just not from this side, if you're not from the south, from the coast, you did not get it. Like, even a hurricane can come and wreak havoc, like physically tear up some stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean your house is going to flood. If your house is up high enough, it'll be okay. Now if you own the beach, that's a different story. When the storm swells come in, maybe it gets real. That's why all them houses on stilts, along the beach. But when you look further inland, you really just want to pay attention to the floodplain, and you want to make sure that your floodplain is good. So there, just because a hurricane had come through doesn't mean that your house will flood. But you can very likely lose power. So you want to make sure you have a generator, like minimum a generator, a good one. Lift it, you lift it up. Make sure you're good. Get you a generator so that thing will run. um, then you got your, we don't get a lot of snow down here. Even though strangely enough we have gotten some. We seem to have had a little snow dusting these last couple of years, which has been really interesting. But we have hot humid summer. Now, humidity is the humidity is real. We had some humid summers. Temperatures typically exceed 95 degrees. Heat index is over 105. It's real. Hurricane, tropical storms, risk, emergency preparedness. You want to make sure that when flooding is possible in certain areas during these severe weather events. Lastly, would be commutes and traffic, because it's growing so fast. Traffic is getting real in Mont Belvieu. So right there, right here. Let me pull up the map for you. Grab this map for you. So particularly right here is where you're starting to see a lot of traffic, just a lot of congestion over here. This this part of I-10. So you want to make sure you kind of like all of this is just getting real. If you're gonna pick up your kids, it's getting real. You just traffic all over the place, right? Because I mean it's growing leaps and bounds. Oh, sorry. Oh, come on, get out of there. No, I didn't want to show that. Okay, it's getting real, right? You got traffic over here going from to 99. It's it's getting real, and even though this isn't quite necessarily um, Mont Belvieu, all of that work, all of those that plant traffic gets brutal, right? It's just traffic all up in here. You just want to be prepared. You want to know that, right? Commutes are taking a little bit longer now, right? When you used to a small town, man, like a commute's like 10 minutes. This is quickly becoming a no longer 10-minute commute commute in Mont Belvieu, right? This traffic is getting real out here. Um, let's see. So with that, again, I wanted to just be honest with you and just share some some real things, right? If you're okay with those things, Mont Belvieu will be a great can be a great place for you to call home. If you're okay with some of the inherent risk, being near plants and the weather and all those things, Mont Belvieu can be a great place. Um, if you're okay with the traffic and you okay with the taxes a little bit higher than some other areas, if you're okay with that, Mont Belvieu can be a great place. Um, i- and so I have all my information in the description below. So I want you to, if this is interesting, if this helped you any, I have a relocation guide for you. So I want you to go download it. I have a relocation. It's after I have my Houston relocation guide. Download it. And so if you're looking for, if I'm going to highlight Mont Belvieu today. But if there's any other place that you're looking for, and you just want to get an understanding of what is Houston like, com get that guide. If you want to, and I also have one from Beaumont too. If you're watching this and you're really thinking about Beaumont in Southeast Texas, just comment Beaumont in the description, and I'll send you that guide for Beaumont as well. So with that, have a great one.